This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Dun, 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 dun.
This is a sham.
No.
Y'all, just stop. Get real.
Welcome to DBL. Happy International Women's Day!
Absolutely.
There's a reason to celebrate women everywhere. As I said, it is International Women's Day. We are so excited to break the bias this year. That is the theme for this year, and it hopes to shed light on the biases against women that fuel gender inequality. There's also a challenge this year. They're asking if you will actively call out gender bias, discrimination, and stereotyping each time you see it. So, let's talk biases, okay? Let's go there, all right? For young girls, there's some obvious ones, like girls should play with dolls, wear pink, and girls should be well-behaved, thin and beautiful to make them appealing to men. Thoughts about young girls? You're raising a young woman.
Yes.
I don't know why I went to you first for Women's Day. I should probably go.
Please don't do this. Let's go on over to Erica.
Let's go to Erica. Erica, how do you feel about today? Let's be honest. And how you feel about young women and their biases.
You know, I think a lot of people will hear that and say, what's the big deal about a color or the toys? But you talk about like your formative years and how much those shape who you become as an adult. And especially when we're gearing one gender for the entertainment or to appease another gender, like structure, it does become problematic because you're learning some of these things from a very young age, and that's when a lot of your, thoughts and intentions and beliefs stem from.
Right, and especially where your habits, if you're told something, like I was always told to be quieter when I was younger, don't make so much noise. When you're younger, that'll stick with you because it's said over and over, and that becomes a tenet, a foundation building block for what you think is correct. And I say to women out there, make some noise.
I love it. I mean, as was on Zoom. My daughter had her birthday party.
Happy birthday!
Yesterday was her official, but we're doing it big this weekend. But family members from all over the country on there. And I was listening to everybody talk. I asked everybody to go around and say something, one thought that they had about her and what they think about her. And everybody who was talking said something totally different and was talking about a different area of her life that she explored. And as you were talking, Erica, I realized that when you start saying, you don't play with that toy, you don't wear that color, when you start walling off different areas of their brain so they start to only think one way. Oh, girls don't use a nail and hammers, come on. When you start doing that over and over again, you don't have to yell, you don't have to hit, but it trains people to think a certain way and get ready for one kind of life, when what we really do is want to open up every area of life. So I really understand like the psychological damage you do when you start working on people's psyche at an early age.
That's very true. Let's move on about adult women, because I know a lot of you are watching right now. They face many biases at home. Women are expected to want children, and something is wrong with them if they don't. I can speak to that very personally. And they are expected to do the majority of chores around the house. I also saw some quote that said women are supposed to have children like they don't work and work like they don't have children. But that's not the same for men. You never say like, how do you fit it all in to a guy with kids? You do say that to a woman. Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. And I think at the foundation of it, it comes from more of like a practical, and I'm not saying that, no one come after me and talk about the patriarchy. I do understand how this thing works. But I think when it comes to the practical aspect, it was the idea of like the woman carries the child. The woman has, a couple might have children, but the onus, the physical pressure and everything changes the life of a woman immediately, where it doesn't do that for a man. So, I think at the root of it, I can understand how people, because I've been guilty of saying that as a woman who doesn't have children, like, how are you doing all this? And it's coming from a place of, admiration. It's coming from a place of appreciation. But if it's done in another way, I can see it being, very condescending.
Yeah, right. I also think a lot of people who I'm 40, I don't have children, and that's there's a stigma out there about that. It's progressing and it's getting better, but it is hard to talk about, especially with an older generation. It's just very different feeling. And I've found myself bumping into that stereotype a lot recently in my life. And it's a very hard thing to say because it's not expected of what the normal train is. And so to step off the train is a sort of a courageous thing to do to anyone, whoever makes whatever choice they make. It's just not the normal thing to do. So it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not, we're talking a lot about society, but we're not talking about just like what you deal with your family.
Exactly.
Like myself, Al walks in and it's all good. I don't get any questions. Just like, oh, I saw you on TV. That was great. I couldn't imagine being a young woman, same position in my career that they might be. But it's like, when you're going to have kids? Oh, you have kids? Oh, I thought you went to college. Why are you wasting your degree if you're just going to have 3 kids? No matter what you do, you are always damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
You're going to upset some of your older family members, men and women that you respect, some people that raised you, people that you just can't cancel out of, oh, I don't care what my grandmother says.
Right.
Everybody does, for the most part. So I just can't imagine, and I wouldn't even begin to try and speak on like what you guys deal with on a personal basis, on a career basis, and I just wish people really just took the time to understand that it hurts all of us.
Right.
Because when we're taking these incredible minds out of our workforce, like, we're hurting ourselves. You guys are 51% of our population. We should be elevating you. So
yeah.
I do want to say, though, I mean, if I don't want to come across as a martyr, because I think this is a day to really celebrate. Like, I look at my family, and you know, between my mother, my grandmothers, my aunts, you know, I saw the strongest examples of women who overcame major obstacles. You know, the idea that my mother has multiple degrees, the idea that, you know, your mother has, you know, like we are, and then they also did all the things in a time where it was even less practical to do all of the things.
Practical.
I think that's a nice euphemism you're using.
Right,
Yes.
you know, so it's
Way
like
less, let's be honest.
I'm so blessed to really think about the examples that have been given to me from a very, very young age, because I've never truly been of the belief that I couldn't do anything that I actually wanted to do and then put action behind it. So seeing those examples are just so important. I mean, to be quite honest, like, I don't think I would be sitting here right now if it weren't for the constant feedback, the positive feedback, and honestly, a lot of the negative feedback too, to the things that I say unapologetically, because I know that I'm hitting a nerve, which means that it's important. And I know that when people reach out to me and say, I needed to see that, or my daughter needed to see that, it's important. And when I feel like that's not important anymore, or I can't hold that space, then you will legit no longer be seeing me, which may make some people happy, but I'll pop up somewhere else. You best believe.
I feel like there should have been music just then. All right, one of the most common places for discrimination, though, for women is at the office. So a survey found a large majority, 62% of women have experienced gender bias at work. Here are some examples. Women don't need equal pay because they have husbands to support them. Assertive women are unfeminine and bossy. A study also found that women are 30% less likely to obtain management roles, and it's even worse for women of color. I'll just speak to something really quick. I've always been the loudest person, or loud in the room, meaning I'll raise my hand first and I'll speak up. And I have learned that that might have given me a reputation all through school, and I might have been bullied all through school because of it, but I am sitting here because of that, just like you said. And the idea that women's voices are not strong is wrong. We are strong. We just need the world to hear our strength and amplify that strength. So for all the women out there, or girls out there, who've been told to be quiet, to keep it more feminine, do you make some noise, change the world. Coming up on DBL, Dr. Coley joins us in studio. She's here to talk about COVID mandates being rolled back. What does she think? And students in Florida walk out to protest the Don't Say Gay law. We're talking about it next. Stay tuned.
Closed captioning provided by...
This March, connect with Al, Lindsay, Erica, Jeff, and Tori. Exciting! Real conversations are on DBL.
Man, you guys want all the smoke with these hard questions.
DBL, all new every day.
It hasn't been signed into law yet, although it's going to be. I don't know. You can go
I don't
either way
care.
on
I
it.
really
I
couldn't
wasn't
care.
sure if we
Yeah,
were
we're talking
moving
about
down or
the
if we were
Don't Say Gay bill next story.
Yeah,
We don't
so
want to step on the segment, but it's
no, it's crazy. A lot of people talking about it.
We're still doing stories like this in 2022.
I feel like we're Russia at some point, but I do want to say that thousands of Floridian, I think I'm saying that right,
Floridians,
students have walked out because of this, and I just want to say I stand with all of you. I see you. The next generation, Al, as you know, you're raising 3 of them, is like, don't even start with me. Remember, Florida's also where Parkland happened, so they're like, let's deal with not getting shot at school instead of dealing with that. But there's a lot of people on the other side who say that, are we indoctrinating our kids at a young age? Should it be more of an at-home conversation? And all of that is going to be discussed today because that's what we do here at DBL. The lint roll feels good.
I wonder if that's an ASMR thing on YouTube.
bet.
I'm sure it is.
Okay.
Yeah. It's,
So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are up in arms in both ways about this. And again, it's an instruction ban. So for instance, if we're talking about families in school, you can't mention gay, you can't mention gender, non-binary, you can't bring up daddies and daddies or mommies and mommies. And if a kid asks about it, is to be kept at home with the parent to discuss.
Well, what would?
And it's passed the House and the Senate, by the way. So Governor DeSantis just has to sign it, and
So
he
they're
will.
not. So is it almost the same as with the sex ed, where like you can take your kid out of school to not hear that lesson?
Parents can sue any teacher that does discuss this. So it's giving the ability of parents to become sort of what they did with the abortion bill in the same ways. You can sue
Please
anyone
make
trying
sure
to
to
help.
bring that up. I think that's the important part.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I am deeply concerned, deeply concerned. It just feels like this is gonna make kids gay and trans, depressed and suicidal. And I think these laws are lesbians. Unconscionable.
Oh, welcome back. That was Kate McKinnon on SNL discussing Florida's controversial bill. Y'all are writing me in already. There are many that are calling the Don't Say Gay bill. It's officially called the Parental Rights in Education, and a portion of it bans any instruction of sexuality or gender in kindergarten through 3rd grade, or in a manner that is not age appropriate. So I want to get that clear to people, if you can figure that out. People who support the bill say it will give parents more discretion over what their children learn in schools, but critics of the bill say it will hurt queer people. Now, students have also staged protests and walkouts saying and chanting, "We say gay." Just so you know where we are with the bill, it just passed the Florida Senate, and it already passed the House, and it's headed to the Florida's governor, Ron DeSantis, to sign, which he is expected to do. DBL Nation, we want to know what you think. Do you support this new law in Florida? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. Again, it's already passed House and Senate. It's going to Governor DeSantis. Al, what do you feel?
You know, it's what you do, but also like the unintended consequences that come off of that, Erica. And when I look at this, the Don't Say Gay bill, if you have a conservative base, it's probably going to resonate. That bell's going to ring, and you're like, well, this is a win. I'm winning. But what you don't see is how your kids are going to look at you. Because when it was time to be this passionate about getting some gun laws in place, we didn't see these press conferences. We didn't see this push. When it came time to do something about the opioid crisis or about trans teens being bullied and killed, we didn't see this energy. And your kids are looking and judging you. For a little while, look at this as a win for your base. But I really wonder how the war is going to look.
You know, I'm a strong believer in energy. So anytime someone has some ill intentions, I'm always like, the probability of you hurting yourself before you're hurting the target that you're actually going for is super strong. I don't think people really get that. And it makes me remember this story. I was in this situation professionally. There was a big LGBTQIA plus celebration, and I kept saying like, oh, we're going to participate in this, so how are we going to do this? And I remember someone who worked with me saying, oh no, we would never do that. We have a lot of conservative people who are around here. And I said, well, what does that mean? This is before there was like liberal conservative, there wasn't all of the things, And I was like, what does that mean? And he said, well, no, we wouldn't do something for gay rights. And I was like, wow. So I went ahead and did it. This person did participate reluctantly. And the next day, their child came out to them.
Wow.
The next day. And I just thought, like, what was that conversation like? Because I know what the conversation was with me, and I'm sure that would have broken your child's heart and would have not had your child come out to you the next day. So just remember, like, you may think that you're protecting your child, but really you're telling them that they don't matter.
That their family doesn't matter.
And that
Right.
something's
Absolutely.
wrong with them.
Yeah,
there's something so wrong with you, we can't even speak on it.
Right. And
like, what does that tell you?
I know Pete Buttigieg said wherever mommies and daddies are discussed, daddies and daddies should also be discussed. Mommies and mommies should also be discussed. And of course, no one's indoctrinating anyone in my point of view. This is unconstitutional and won't stand. Let's see what you all said. Do you support Florida's parental rights in education bill? No, 83% of you. You know what? This next generation's like, don't even start. Don't even start. And I'm proud of those.
They don't care. They're not listening to that.
They walked out, and I'm
They're
proud.
very much
They're
like,
I'm not having it, and I'm proud of them. We stand with you in Florida. Coming up on DBL, Dr. Coley is here giving us her take on mask mandates still happening in some schools. Is it time to drop them? Coley?
Officials tout at-home rapid COVID-19 tests as a first line of defense against the pandemic. The tests allow users to take their own sample and then get a result within 15 minutes. Some social media users saying that convenience can come at a cost in the form of a lethal ingredient used to generate the result.
So let's verify. Do some at-home COVID-19 tests contain a lethal ingredient?
Our sources are the Upstate Poison Center, the Cincinnati Drug and Poison Information Center, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and the National Capital Poison Center. When you do a rapid home test, the kit requires users to collect a sample and place it on a tray. Then you have to mix a liquid reagent with the sample to make a reaction, which generates a positive or negative result. The Upstate Poison Center says the liquid reagent in many tests contains sodium azide, which the CDC calls a potentially dangerous chemical. But all three poison centers say the test kits contain such a small amount of sodium azide that most people will not become seriously ill if they use the test improperly, such as ingesting the solution. Cincinnati poison experts saying the two most common calls about COVID home tests they get are either about children who ingest the liquid or adults who mistake the test bottle for eye drops. The National Center said it also received calls from people who put the solution up their nose or spilled it on their finger. In every case, the person suffered either no to mild irritation.
So it's true. Some rapid at-home COVID-19 tests contain a very small amount of a poisonous ingredient, but the tests are perfectly safe when used correctly.
Most people have no or mild symptoms if they incorrectly touch or ingest the dangerous ingredient. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back to DBL. Many people are wondering what we should be doing when it comes to keeping COVID at bay. So Dr. Coley, thank you for being here, joins us. She's going to fill us in, plus get to the bottom of some other medical news. So hello.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
How are you?
It's lovely to see you.
You too.
Without a mask. Weird.
Happy Women's Day, yes.
Happy Women's Day as well to
Yes.
you. All right, with COVID mandates, many of us are a little confused. So what should we be doing now to stay safe?
So I ask myself two things now, because everything has kind of changed overnight, you know, and all these new rules are out there. I ask myself, what is my risk and my family's risk? And where do I live? What's going on in the community? And if you're high on both of those, keep that mask on. If you're low, you can take that mask off. Wow. And if you're in the middle, one low, one high, then it's a personal decision that you have to make. But I want us to be clear about this, which is that if I decide to wear my mask, you have to respect that. And if I decide to take off my mask, we also have to respect that. So we cannot be in that territory now where we're shaming people for wearing or not wearing their masks, because we really are in a time of transition.
And also, you don't know people's situation, you know, who they have at home.
Exactly.
So let's talk about people that you might have at home, like your kids.
That's
now,
right.
Florida, their health department is saying that healthy kids, and that's in air quotes, healthy kids between 5 and 11 do not need to get the COVID vaccine. What would you say to our viewers that are like, is that right? Should I not get? Like, what should they do?
This totally came out of left field. There is no scientific evidence whatsoever to support kids that are healthy not getting the vaccine. This is really not investing in your child's immune system savings bank. Why would you not do it? The vaccine is safe. The vaccine is effective. It cuts your chance of getting into the hospital for a child by 50%, 48%. So why is it that we would not protect our kids? And I like to use the raincoat analogy, Al. So let's say it's pouring rain outside. Are you going to send your kid out there without an umbrella or raincoat?
No. But if I want to be their favorite parent, yeah. It depends, but no, I would not.
You wouldn't. So let's say you put an umbrella or raincoat on them. Is it going to protect them 100%? No, of course not. But it is going to protect them, and it is something that every parent would do. So I really want us to start thinking about the vaccines in the same way. We wouldn't let our kids out in the rain without some protection on their skin. So why send them out when there's a pandemic and a virus circulating without something in their immune system to help them fight it?
Well, we have a viewer question, Dr. Coley. Stacy from YouTube says, I use melatonin to help me sleep at night. Is it safe for everyone to use?
Oh, great question. So whenever I travel, especially if I'm moving more than 3 hours time zones, I like to take a little melatonin, because what does melatonin do? It resets your body's natural clock. We all have a circadian rhythm, which kind of tells us when it's night, when it's time for bed, and it releases those sleep chemicals. So melatonin kind of is a sleep hormone, so to speak.
Now, if I don't want to take melatonin, but if I don't want to do that, but like maybe supplement that with just calling Tori and having her talk to me about the presidents, that puts me right to sleep.
So back to the answer to Stacy's question.
So that's always safe to do.
Okay.
There's no risks to calling
I just put her on
Tori,
speaker and
it's
back
very effective. It always will get you to sleep as well. You know?
First of all, rude. Second of all, circadian rhythm is an awesome jazz band name,
That would be
isn't
cool.
it?
Yes.
Oh, is it?
Keep it slashy. All right.
Stacy needs her question answered.
I'm so sorry.
So
Continue.
I would say
Sorry,
do not
Stacey.
take supplements, because they come with risk, guys. We have started taking supplements like candy. Supplements are not regulated in the same way that drugs are. And in fact, melatonin is a drug in many European countries, so it's regulated differently. But what the studies have told us is that when you take an over-the-counter supplement, melatonin is pretty safe, but you could be getting up to 500% of what's written on the label when you take that supplement. So that's one of the reasons I like to say only take very little, only when absolutely necessary. Don't make it a habit.
Got it. Melatonin, and then don't mix with other supplements as well. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
But always can call you for that sleep aid.
The camera didn't even come to me because I was so boring. Thank you, doctor. If you have a question you want answered by Dr. Coley, write us on social media. You can email us at info@dailyblastlive.com. We'll be right back. Washington, Adams, Jefferson.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
In 2021, Congress changed the child tax credit for the year, which made some changes to the current tax laws as well. With the pandemic creating hardships for many families, one question some are asking is, can you claim the child care tax credit if you didn't work or have income in 2021? Let's verify. Our source is Arthur Bartlett, Program Director for Lower Income Taxpayer Clinic at Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy, the American Rescue Plan Act, and the IRS. The American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 temporarily expanded child tax credits for the year. The law increased the credit to as much as $3,000 per child and $3,600 for children under 6. The American Rescue Plan made the credit fully refundable for families who lived in the U.S. for more than 6 months during 2021, and half of the credit was allowed to be paid in advance through monthly payments to families. According to the IRS, under the rules for 2021, people who qualify for a child tax credit can receive the full credit as a refund.
It was a one-time change to the law just for 2021, but it allowed people who say are on Social Security and taking care of a child to get that credit to benefit the child.
Bartlett says for 2021, families with no earned income can take the child tax credit if they meet the criteria. And that means claiming the whole thing on your tax return. Remember, half of the credit was split up into monthly payments, but the other half can be applied to your tax bill or refund.
The other half of the credit needs to be claimed on the 2021 tax return. So it's imperative that people who maybe don't usually have to file go in and file so they can get the second half of that child tax credit.
Bartlett tells us it's important for people to file taxes even if they are below the usual income threshold, which ranges from $20,500 for head of household to below $12,500 for single filing status.
There are lots of reasons why people who aren't required to file a return might want to file a return, especially in 2021 because of the enhanced child tax credit.
So we can verify that, yes, you can claim the child care tax credit if you didn't work or have income in 2021, but you need to make sure your tax return is filed correctly in order to do so. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
The classic animated movie Anastasia was removed from Disney Plus in the United States on March 1st.
I will not rest until I see the end of the Romanov line.
Posts on social media claim the movie was banned because of its storyline about Russian history, given the current war in Ukraine. So let's verify. Did Disney Plus drop the movie Anastasia because of the Russian invasion of Ukraine? Our sources are Disney Plus, Stars, and IMDb. According to IMDb, the 1997 version of Anastasia was produced and distributed by 21st Century Fox. Back in March 2019, Disney acquired 21st Century Fox, and with it, many TV and movie assets, including Anastasia. A Disney streaming spokesperson confirmed that the film is no longer available due to pre-existing licensing deals. So we can verify, no. Disney Plus did not remove the movie Anastasia because of the current crisis. And if you want to watch it in the US, it will be available to stream on Stars on March 18th. With your Fast Fact, I'm Ariane Till.
Welcome back. In case you needed even more of a reason to start moving your body, new research shows that certain exercises can prolong your life by about 15%. That's today's Focus on Fitness presented by QB. A study found that strength training for 30 to 60 minutes a week is correlated to a reduced risk of conditions like heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. So adding muscle strengthening exercise like weightlifting and push-ups can help you live better and longer. Cardio plays a beneficial role as well. QB is a great way to get some quick exercise regardless of physical ability or age. Try their under-desk elliptical at home. Call 1-800-556-2089 or visit QB.com to learn more. I did want to end with a quote that I think it's Chris Rock, and he said, if women were in charge of the world, there would be no wars. There would just be a lot of countries not talking to each other. And I know that's a really funny thing to say, but I always think we've seen how men have done it and they've been in charge and where we are. It's really time for women to be in charge.
It's time for that balance.
And take over.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really believe in that. So to strong women, may we know them, may we raise them, may we be them. Thank you all. Have a wonderful International Women's Day. Erica, I see you as a woman.
Well, I appreciate that because I am.
Good
Thanks.
to know. DBL is you.
And I see you as a woman that had to kill 10 seconds.
I had to kill 10 seconds. We'll see you. Bye, guys.